everyone, and welcome to On the Couch with Corcoran's Furniture. I'm joined by an absolute Kerry legend, Colm Cooper. Colm, it's so lovely to have you on the couch, and I'm delighted to get a chance to sit down and have a chat with you.
Yeah, it's great to be here, Valerie. Yeah, we'll catch up and talk about GAA and lots of other things, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, of course. First of all, let's start with the name, because it's Colm Cooper, but I think everyone knows you as the Gooch, and I'd say still to this day people probably address you as the Gooch.
Yeah, they did. I think my mother was probably the only one who called me Colin, but when I'm around Killarney and around Kerry, I think it's the Gooch. So, yeah, it's just one of those things that stuck. A good friend of mine, Peter O'Brien, came out with it one day, and I suppose every young guy in Killarney had a nickname, and usually it goes when you're about 12 or 13, but mine stuck for the rest of my days. So, yeah, it's something I got used to, and we used to have a good laugh about it.
You didn't mind?
No, I didn't mind. As I say, most people had a nickname, but mine seemed to stick a little bit longer. But it's amazing, I suppose, when you're in GA as well, everyone gets to know you as the Gooch and different things. So yeah, good.
We were chatting before we started, and you mentioned that you're gone from playing football for Kerry at 10 years at this stage, which to me it just feels like you were playing 2 or 3 years ago. Does it feel like yesterday for you as well?
Yeah, it's mad really. There's times I have to remind myself. I feel I was playing 3 or 4 years ago. It's nearly it's not far off 10 now. So yeah. But having said that, amazing journey, great times, great days, ups and downs, and that's part of any sporting life. So now I have to deal with going to the matches, being more nervous watching them than playing in them, and obviously doing a bit of the pundit stuff with the Sunday game and RT as well has been fun. But yeah, I miss the dressing room, and I miss the fun and crack and things. I don't miss the training. I don't miss the cold February nights running around fields and things like that. But yeah, great times. But I don't know where the time went.
Let's take it back to the start. Do you remember maybe when football was first introduced to you?
First introduced, I'd say, growing up in Killarney, getting picked up in Archinavuli where I lived, getting a bus up to Dr. Croke's maybe under 5 or 6, with lots of the lads, and that was probably the highlight of our week. School was great, but the highlight was going to football training, and maybe if you had a new pair of boots or a new jersey or anything like that, showing it off with your friends. And at that time I loved all sports, to be honest. Gaelic football, soccer, basketball. We used to play everything really, to be honest. But yeah, so the love affair of came from the first day at Dr. Croke's, and it just kept going from there.
And when you were probably getting to the age where you probably had to take it a bit serious, was there someone that you, I suppose, was seen as a bit of an inspiration towards you? Would you have looked up to someone?
Family probably more so, Valerie, to be honest. I looked up to a lot of people in different sports and different codes, but I suppose football and soccer were my favourites. I would have played with Killarney Celtic in town here, and loved every minute of it. But obviously, as you were getting a bit older, if you were going playing for the Kerry Minors and things, there was a commitment required there and things. So yeah, all my brothers would have played with Dr. Croke's, and I just always envisaged myself playing with Croke's at the highest possible level, and I suppose never really thought the Kerry piece was too much on the horizon for me. But it's amazing how things happen very quickly. And within 2 or 3 years, I had been a Kerry minor and into the senior panel, and the rest is history really. But I'd say family were probably the most influential people for sure.
I know you're a humble guy, so you'll probably hate my next question, but was there a time you realised, God, I'm actually kind of good at this? I'm actually quite good.
I'm not sure, because growing up, just funny enough, we've had great teams in Dr. Croke's and things, but my age group wasn't strong, and we probably lost. No, there's no probably about it. We lost more games growing up than we would have won. So that probably led to a few question marks and things. But I always loved the game. I loved playing, regardless even if we lost. It didn't diminish my hunger and desire for the game. So yeah, I suppose probably when you're getting trials for Kerry Minors and things, you begin to understand that, okay, well, somebody thinks quite highly of you, and you're in and around. So yeah, making the Kerry Minors in my bad year was probably a signal that I was on the right trajectory, and probably breaking into the Croke senior team as well at 17 was probably a bit of a strange one, but also maybe in a way being fast tracked through to say, look, this guy has a little bit of potential, alright, but I didn't expect all the things after that.
Yeah, crazy. Like,
Yeah.
it's so nice to look back on. And then you did get the call up to the senior team. 2002?
Yeah.
Would have been 2002? Do you remember your first game?
I do. I remember my first game in Limerick in the Gaelic grounds. Yeah, I remember it being freezing. It was a Division Two league final against Laois, and there was hailstones that were nearly bigger than me hitting the back of my head. Yeah, but yeah, it was just one of those days. Everything went right. I got a goal. Let's say with my first touch, and um,
Wow.
it was just great. And like the game and winning was brilliant, but the real winning for me was being in a dressing room with Seamus Moynihan, Dara O'Shea, Mike Frank Russell, and all the legends that only a few months previous I was going watching them in Dublin and looking for a ticket to go and watch them. So it's amazing what can happen very quickly. And yeah, it was just I was lucky enough to settle in, and I always kind of look back at saying I was probably the most fortunate person in terms of there was so much quality in that Kerry team, and the age profile was good, so I was able to spend the next 10 years of playing in big games in Croke Park and things, and that was largely down to the team that was there at the time, and I just came at the right time.
What was it like when you went in and you started playing with these lads? You know, you looked up to them, you watched them most weekends. Did you find it a bit daunting at first?
I did, yeah. Even I remember first nights going in training, going to trial matches, and that time Paddy O'Shea was the manager, so like Paddy's larger than life character, Kerry legend, and naturally you want to go in and impress them and show them I suppose that you belong in there. But I suppose I couldn't believe how welcoming and how opening they were to come in. I was kind of dreading to myself, okay, well, where do you sit? What's the protocol when you go in training and things like that? Silly stuff.
Yeah, don't sit in someone's seat.
Yeah, exactly. And just maybe feeling a little bit uncomfortable, but I would say that only lasted for a couple of weeks, and then you're just one of the lads in there, and I suppose you earned their trust, you earned the group's trust, and I suppose they probably saw in me that, look, this guy has a bit of quality and he can help the team. So maybe that was one of the reasons I was welcomed so well. But brilliant times, brilliant memories, and even in Paddy O'Shea's 2 years that I spent with him, they're kind of memories you'll cherish forever, you know.
Yeah, of course. Plenty of National League medals, Munster titles, 5 All-Ireland medals. Do you remember your first one?
I do, yeah. I don't think you'll ever forget your first one. 2004. Yeah, it's probably special for different reasons. It was probably my father was around for that one. It was the only one he was around for. He was at a few ones afterwards, but our whole family were there, so it was lovely to celebrate in the Burlington that night. The game itself, again, it was just one of the magic days where everything I touched seemed to turn to gold. And there's days you go out and play football and things come so easy to you, and that it doesn't happen that often, but that was one of the days for me. So brilliant Kerry performance, kind of steamrolled Mayo really that day. And we were under a bit of pressure going into the game because Seamus Moynihan and Dara O'Shea were missing through injury. But amazing performance by the lads, the team, and yeah, good celebrations too.
Class, unreal. I love that you say you remember your first, but like when you start winning 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, does it still mean as much to you, or you're like, oh, the next one?
I think you're in a bubble. You're just well, for me when I was playing, and it was always the next one. Okay, you're hungry to win now, but even when you win, you're celebrating, but in the back of your mind you're saying, well, what about next year and how that is. So I think that's a sporting. A lot of sports people have that at times it's difficult to enjoy because you're always thinking of what's coming next. But yeah, it is. Look, I suppose you enjoy it, and we were as good as anyone at enjoying a big win like that, and you might get squeeze a few weeks out of it, and but then you know that there's another test coming the following year. So great experience, and that's, I suppose, when you get a chance to win with your friends and your teammates, and that makes it all sweeter.
What were the celebrations like for you?
We were good. We were good.
Too good.
Yeah, we weren't from wanting to get that. We probably would have got a few medals for that as well if they'd given them out Saturday. But we were great. Look, the team holidays were amazing.
Yeah.
You know, I suppose we were.
Where did you get to go?
We were very fortunate. Like, we were in Miami, the Bahamas. We were in Australia for New Year's Eve, South Africa for New Year's Eve. So we used to go just maybe the 28th or 29th of December. And again, I remember going to my first one, and Paddy O'Shea was on it, and I was sharing with Mark O'Shea. I think we were like, I was saying, first of all, you get a chance to play with Kerry, and we got the All-Ireland final, and generally if you get the All-Ireland final, you get a good holiday. And I was there, now they're bringing us to South Africa for 3 weeks. So, amazing experience. And they're the things that I kind of remember, and that's where the friendships are formed. And amazingly, like, and probably people lose sight of this a little bit, that's where a lot of the real bonding goes on, because we're training, I think at high level sport, you're training the whole time, you're very professional, you're testing each other every night in training. You don't have a whole pile, and you're an amateur, so you don't spend every hour of every day as a professional together. So it gives you an opportunity to get to know guys a little bit deeper, what's going on in their life, what they're looking to do, what their ambitions are outside the sport, and you form a little bond that way. But great times, great memories. We saw the world, and I suppose
mad Kerrymen abroad.
Mad Kerrymen, yeah. We're mad in Kerry. Never mind getting us out foreign. So magical times.
And when it comes to, you just mentioned, you're amateur. I think people forget that like those holidays are just a small token at the end of year of what you have done. You've trained in the wind, the rain. People forget there's gym sessions, there's the nutrition. Nowadays, like, it must be so different to what it was like for you back in the day. Was there such mad things about strength and conditioning and things for you?
It was very loose when I came in, to be honest. I used to come in. We used to train Tuesday and Thursday and play a match or train again at the weekend, and that was standard enough. But if I turned the clock a little bit to when I was finishing, there was GPS, there was recording what food you ate each day, how many hours you slept. It just had gone full circle, and look, sports science improved as well, so I understand why it did that. Look, amateurs, I think, like, just take the GAA over the next few weekends, you're going to have 80,000 sellouts in Croke Park. I think to give teams a holiday at the end of that, I think it's only right and deserved, so I have no issues with that sort of thing. I think players should be, they don't get paid, so they can be rewarded in other ways, and I think team holidays are a nice way to do it for the GAA.
Was there anything like sponsorship deals or cars or anything like that back in the day? Because now a lot of the players have sponsored cars, and they might get a deal with and go open the local shop. Was there mad things like that?
There
You
was
back in
those
the
bits
day?
and pieces and things, and I would have kind of done different things with Adidas and Lucas Sport. I think back to some of the ads and different things. I kind of cringed now a little bit, and the lads used to give me a bit of stick about it. I think the Luke says Sport on a night out, they'd say keeps top athletes going 33% longer and things like that. So they used to give me a bit of grief about that. But they're nice things. They're going on now, Valerie. I think certainly in the more traditional counties, I'd say most players would have a car now, where maybe back when I was playing, maybe only 5 or 6 of us had it. So I think players are probably, and I suppose companies and things, see the value in having kind of brand ambassadors and things a little bit more now and things as well. And that's nice for the players, because they are putting in so much time into it. So if there's, and they're not huge perks, but if those little perks are out there, good luck to anyone who gets them.
Amazing. Look, you've had such a fantastic career. You'd also 8 All-Stars, which I'm like, do you have all these medals and trophies and accolades? Where are all these kept? Have you them somewhere special? Are they thrown in the box somewhere?
I used to give them to my mother, and she used to mind them, but I have them. The medals are in a box. I had to. Someone wanted to see them last Christmas, so I had to go looking for them to make sure they were all there. But I think a lot of the memories are in the head. The medals are great, and that's sometimes you have to say all the fight and sacrifice I had to go in for that little medal. But was it worth it? Every ounce of energy, it was worth it. But the All-Stars were never a big thing for me in terms of I'd give back all the All-Stars for another All-Ireland medal with that sort of greed. But look, they're nice. I think maybe when you win the All-Ireland, and a few Kerry lads are represented, but I suppose it's the memories and things that you cherish more.
You've an All-Ireland with the club, though.
I do.
So the tough question is, which is the nicer one to have? The club or club's where you start, is where you finish. Everyone says it, but there must be a difference in winning with club and county. They both must be special.
It probably is, because there was a journey for us in Dr. Crokes. We got to finals when we were very young. We got to finals when we were 21, because again I came along at a brilliant time, and Crokes lads were like a couple of lads, maybe a few years younger than me. We knew that they had a load of quality, and they were a very talented bunch. And we got to final, and we thought we'd be there every year, but we didn't win. Crossmaglen beat us, who were an amazing team as well. and it took us nearly 20 years again to come around, and eventually we won, beating Slaughtneil in Croke Park, and I would definitely say that was the most satisfying win I ever had, because I had been very honest and open in terms of I wanted to win the club medal, and I had done my cruciate ligament in my knee 2 years previously, and I didn't know if I'd get the chance to get back playing and things, so to do that, that was very satisfying. Plus I have two brothers who had a club medal, and they had one over me, so I didn't enjoy that part, but they used to remind me as well. So
the competitiveness in the brothers.
Yeah. So well, there's 5 boys and 2 girls, and each every bit as competitive as the next. So, but that Crokes one was fabulous, and I think it was something that the team deserved. But in sport, nobody hands you anything; you have to go and win it, and yeah, that was certainly a sweet one.
Yeah, and you were able to step away in 2017, like having done all this, and you were content with your decision. Was it time for you to go?
Yeah, I think it was the right decision. It's never easy to make the decision, but I remember it was probably a week or two after that All Ireland club win, and I suppose Eamon Fitzmaurice, who was the manager of Kerry at the time, was giving me a bit of space, knowing that there was a bit of celebrations going on, but at the same time he was preparing for championship and needing to realise on my planning with or without Colm, and I drove to his house, and you know what, I knew what I was going to tell him, and I've never asked him, and I'm good friends with him, and I've never asked him since. Did he sense that I was going to tell him that? But yeah, it's hard to say goodbye to something that has given you so much joy and happiness and friendships, and I suppose for any boy growing up in Kerry to play and to play it for 15 years, it's unbelievable. So to actually give it up and say goodbye, it was very, very hard. But having said that, when I was done. I feel it's on to the next generation, and you hand on the jersey to someone else, and thankfully in Kerry there was another bunch of young lads coming who were supremely talented. So that's the beauty of Kerry. When you're done, and someone else will take on the mantle. So when you have I've had my time and I've enjoyed every minute of it, and hand it on to the next generation.
Class. And then, to be fair, like it's still nice that you're part of it, because you got to dip your toes into a bit of media afterwards, which at one stage you were at the other side of the mic, then you were, how did you find the Sunday game? How did you find being part of that, being an analysis now of the game?
Yeah, it's very different. It's I suppose when I was playing, I was probably saying, oh, look at the guys above an RT giving us slating, criticising and all that, and now I'm probably I've probably been, there's fellas throwing darts at me as well some nights, but no, I've enjoyed it, to be fair. It's great to get in and see how it all works, and people probably don't realise the time that goes into it, particularly the Sunday night shows. And look, you're familiar with all that yourself. You're on the show on a weekly basis, Valerie, so I don't have to explain it to you, but quite often you could be there 10-12 hours on a Sunday preparing, looking at videos from the night before and things like that. So but I think it's an Irish societal thing that we like to give out is probably the wrong word, but challenge views, and that's the beauty. I think that's the beauty of sport. That and even when I'm walking down the town, in anywhere in Killarney, in Kenmare, where I work, or any part of Kerry, people are interested in talking football, and they have an opinion, and it's not always something you don't always agree. But I think that's the best thing about the GAA. And I think that's probably the strength of the GAA. And I always say, you could walk down the street of Killarney tomorrow and meet David Clifford. You can't walk down the middle of Manchester and meet any of the Manchester United players and talk and invariably have a photograph. And I think that's a real strength of the GAA. So, but the RT thing has been great. I've enjoyed it. Probably doing a little bit less now because we have a little boy and spending a bit more time at home, and I suppose the difficulty is we're 200 miles from Dublin as well, so it is a long spin when you're going, but I've enjoyed dipping my toe in and doing a few years, and also probably meeting some of the players that I would have played against. Yeah. That's probably nice, because usually we were tearing the heads off each other and now you get a chance to just have a chat and let your hair down, and occasionally maybe have a beer with them and things like that, which is nice to do as well.
Yeah, no, of course. And you mentioned that you'd meet all walks of people in the life of GAA, and recently, We the sad news, of course, of Micheál Mair Hurtig passing away, and like I'd have met him in the press box, and oh my God, like such an amazing man, amazing character, and you too, down through the years that have had interactions with him, like what he did for the GAA, he was literally the voice of GAA for so many years, and still to a lot of people will be, you know.
Yeah, so sad when I heard the news. Amazing man, amazing Kerry man. I travelled the world with him. International rules. He was out in Australia with us, and I would deem him the best Irish commentator I've ever seen in my lifetime, and I don't think anyone's going to trump that. But probably more than that, an amazing man, person, family man. And when we used to arrive into Croke Park on big days, we'd get off the bus and go in. Micheál was always there, not just because it was Kerry, for the other teams as well. And they can be difficult moments because players are under so much pressure, and everybody gets a bit tense before games. But just the way he conducted himself, he made people relax. Just his personality, I think, and he's very unique. I've never seen anyone like Micheál, and I would say certainly. That was universal. People from other counties would say it. Managers and players from other counties would say it. And it's a very sad day for him and his family. But one of Kerry's greatest.
Certainly, and what a way to say it. One of Kerry's greatest, right? And obviously our thoughts are with his family at this difficult time as well. And you know, you have finished up your Kerry time. Before we wrapped up though, you have your own beautiful family life at the moment that you're giving your time to. How is that like now, being at home around? What are the smallies like? Are they into the GAA?
It's different, but it's brilliant. So Katie Leash is loving life. We have a 17-month-old boy now. Another child on the way in start of October, so it's a different time and different space for us, but it's great. We're heading for, instead of Croke Park now, we're heading for playgrounds and walks and muckers and things. But it's brilliant. Look, I think it's a different space when you walk into life, kids and things, and no matter what I find is, no matter how bad your day is or what problems you think you're having, you come home and there's a smiling face. It cheers you up. So it's been great, and hopefully once everybody stays happy and healthy, there's great times ahead.
Yeah, and I'm sure a Kerry jersey is the first gift.
Well, he can't kick the ball yet. He can only throw it. So he's only 17 months.
It's something. Come on, don't put that much pressure on him. He's only 17 months.
Yeah, he mightn't play football at all, but we'll give him a taste of everything.
Yeah, fair play. Honestly, thank you so much for sharing everything with me and the coach today. You're an absolute legend of the game, and thanks for taking your time for having a chat with us in Corcoran today.
Thanks, Valerie.